Good morning and welcome to another wonderful day. It is outnumbered on Oweleke TV. On this beautiful day, we are reaching you live and direct from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Nigeria. Yesterday was a rainy day and today may be a sunny day, just the way the weather has reported it. And of course, if you're coming into town from around city gates, you need to move early because there's going to be a little traffic there. And for those of you coming into Abuja from Nasarawa area along the Kugbo area, there's also a little traffic. That is for those of you coming into town. All right, we're bringing you to speed with the headlines for the day. My name is Ramsey, and of course, Antonia is here. And I don't know why she's smiling like this morning.
I'm excited to bring the headlines of today. So that's
there are so many punchy things in the headline of today. The papers, so many punchy headlines. And of course, good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
Oh,
Ramsey.
all right. I wanted to say something, but I'm not going to say
Michael.
it. All right, let's bring you to speed with the headlines from the day, beginning from the Independent newspaper. I won't rest until insecurity is eliminated, Tinubu reassures. Then just one rider to that story says our current security strategy, yielding result. That is coming from the #1 citizen of the country. Then this one says guard Sultan jealously. Shettima tells Sokoto government. One more rider to it. A plot to dethrone Sultan will backfire. Murik warns. Plot to dethrone Sultan will backfire. Murik warns. Is there any other dethronement coming? What's happened in Kano State? Is it about repeating itself in Sokoto State? Well, details on page 4 of the Guardian, Daily Independent, I beg your pardon. Then the big story is all about cholera outbreak. Cholera is everywhere right now. Death toll rises to 53 across 31 states. Cases soar to 1,528. Then we have two riders to that story as federal government asks Nigerians to avoid locally prepared kunu, zobo, all that. All right. Ogun laments lack of vaccine. Lagos starts contact tracing. Those are the two riders to the big story. And finally from here, Senate insists on probing Buhari's 30 trillion naira ways and means loan. And of course, we will be bringing you more on that later. And that's going to be the size of the headlines. A lot of headlines from the Daily Independent. But then I think it will be fine if you go pick a copy and just go through it for yourself. All right, let's move to the next paper, Antonia.
All right, let's take a look at the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Amid deposition rumor, Shettima urges Sokoto government to guard Sultan jealously, says he's an institution. And the details of that you can find on page 5. We have a rider underneath that. Police beef up security at Sanusi Bayero's palaces, chase away hunters. Away from that, U.S. government awards $2.6 billion grants to 33 Nigerian companies. You can find the details of that on page 30. And then the big story on the Nigerian Tribune this morning, Southern governors unveil 5-point agenda for regions development. That you can find on page 15 as Abiodun emerges as the forum's chairman. Away from that, NSCDC records 53 deaths, 1,528 suspected cholera cases. The cholera cases it's on the increase every day.
It's on the increase.
It's really sad. And the details of that is on page 3. We have some riders underneath that. Activates National Emergency Operations Center. Deaths in Lagos now 29 from 574 reported cases. Away from that, caution citizens to avoid unregistered beverages. Ogun records 1 death, 25 suspected cases in 7 local government areas. Intensify environmental surveillance, federal government tells states and local government areas. And that will be the size of the headlines from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Antonio. Straight to the punch today. Above the header, 3 stories, interestingly. Let's start from the one on page 3. The kicker says minimum wage. Be patient with Tinubu presidency pleads. Cholera spreads to 107 local government, 1,528 persons infected already. That's on a sad note. Details on page 2. Anti-Sultan plot. Shetima PDP warns as Sokoto denies allegation. You can get the full story on page 3. Now let's move over to the big story on the Punch today. Dangote Refinery is the kicker. Operators seek federal government intervention as marketers opt for fuel import. Details on page 24. We'll have one rider to the story. Dealers slam IOCs. NMDPRA silent amid dirty fuel import accusation. Away from that story, wire fraud is the kicker in the story. Court orders Nigeria's extradition to US. Details on page 22. Cleaner bags life jail for sexually assaulting baby in church. In church, that's very painful. I mean, you're in church and you're assaulting a baby sexually.
That's painful.
Sexual assault is wrong in every
irrespective of where it's happening.
Irrespective of where it happens.
Some of these people that work in churches, some of them are not really born again. Some of them are not even Christians, especially for some big churches. But then whoever you're employing, the supervisor should be able to know who that person is and what that person is capable of doing. I don't know the trauma the parents and this child will be going through right now. But then sad. I think it's good that justice is taking its place.
Yes. Yeah, you can get that full story on page 4. Away from that, Northwest insecurity affecting other zones. Tinubu laments. That is interestingly our last story on page 2 of the Punch. Do well to pick a copy today. It'll do you well. Over to you, Ramsey.
Thank you very much, Michael, for those headlines. Let's quickly move to the Guardian newspaper, which is going to be the last for now. The big story said the listed firms, shareholders, 130 billion naira trapped. Okay, in SEC Finance Ministry 5 years after. It is read on page 6. Why governors may stall new wage at state level. Details read on page 3. Then this one says it will take decades to get out of banditry. Sultan laments. It will take decades to get out of banditry. That is Sultan lamenting, and details read on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Then this one says that after upsetting Kano, political tremor rumble around Sultan of Sokoto. I told you earlier from the first paper that maybe what happened in Kano State is about repeating itself in Sokoto State. And right here, it is being said that after upsetting Kano, political tremor rumble around Sultan of Sokoto. All right, let's see how that is going to go. Unmetered electricity customers rise by 600,000 in 3 months. That is people using electricity without meter. People who are being billed based on estimation is rising by the day. I wonder why we cannot even get meter. Why electricity cannot be metered in Nigeria? Probably because these tax masters are exploiting the people by just giving an estimate. They just come to your house and look at the building and just estimate whatever they want you to pay.
I thought in the past years meter was made free, but right now
meter is supposed to be free. I spoke with someone. I was doing an interview and I spoke with someone working with PHCN. And the person, the then PHCN, okay. I think the person was working with AEDC, yeah, okay. AEDC, that is Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, and he said, well, meter is not something you talk about because affording it. Okay, before you even distribute to the people. So many things tied to it. So I don't know what the government is doing about it. Then Obi expressed worry over exodus of multinationals. It's a pain. You know, this morning we heard that grant is about to be given to some indigenous companies, and 33 of them. But then some other multinationals are leaving. Would the indigenous companies be able to meet the services of Nigerians? Microsoft gone. Is it Glasgow also?
Yeah.
This
GlaxoSmithKline.
GlaxoSmith, and a lot of other companies gone. Well, let's see what will happen. Let's see what the federal government will do about that. All right, this is going to be the size of the headlines for this morning. Let's quickly go on a break. And when we return, we'll talk about the big story. And the big story is going to be about the probe of the past administration of His Excellency Buhari Muhammadu, or you can call him Muhammadu Buhari. All right, we will be back.
Follow us on our social media handles at Uweleke TV. Visit our website at www.uweleke.tv for a thrilling journey. Uweleke TV, rising star at the fairground.
Welcome back from that break. It is still outnumbered, and now it is time for the big story. Let's talk about it a little bit. That's the 30 trillion naira loan, okay, for the Ways and Means project. Well, let's look at it critically. Number one, how many past administrations have been probed in the past? And what is the possibility of probing this administration? And then let's also look at it if there will be continuity in probing past administrations. If it's going to happen to Muhammadu Buhari, then it should be a continuous thing, because if you look at it and it happened to just one president, one past administration, and it doesn't happen to the others, some people will look at it as witch hunting somehow. But if it is being made something that will be a continuous thing, it will be better, so that every administration, as they are coming on board, they will sit up. When they are taking loans, when they are doing anything, their spendings, they will be careful so that the economy don't suffer too much. Let me ask Michael. Michael, what do you think? Hearing that there is this set of people, okay, in the Senate insisting, all right, that the Means and Way project be probed, and it has to do with 30 trillion naira. And if you hear a thing like this, the number one thing that should come to your mind is maybe an information have leaked into the ears of the lawmakers, you know, and they want to do this. Why, among all other projects, why the Means and Way? You understand? And why the 30 trillion naira? So that's the question. What do you think about this when you heard it?
Means and Ways, the loan.
Ways and Means, you mean?
Ways and Means, or Means and Ways. The loan that comes from Central Bank of Nigeria to the federal government. I heard it's been there, and it also aided in inflation because of the inflationary nature that it has accumulated. And then if it is not settled or liquidated, it accrues for over 40 years. That means if the next government comes, they still have to settle that loan. So they still have to settle that particular debt. It's been there.
What kind of agreement is this?
It's something else. I mean, it's going to be there in 40 years until
so
liquidated.
How hungry, how determined, you know, just to accumulate wealth for yourself, you're taking a loan that the interest will be accumulating for years.
9% interest.
9% interest. Can you imagine that?
So by implication, the debt will appear for over 4 years, you know, in balance sheet of CBN for over 40 years. So that means if this government goes, Buhari government left, the debt is still there waiting for this government that is here now. They want to probe Buhari because they don't want to pay the debt. You want Baba Buhari to pay the debt? So talking about continuity, it's very imperative that it becomes a continuous thing, and not just to disparage or to sabotage the past government. It should be successive, so that next government or this government will sit up and know that, hey, whatever you do, that
there's going to be a probe at the end of your administration.
There's an eagle eye that is watching you, whichever office that you are. You see what happened yesterday with Federal Civil Service? That's what I want. That's what I want. If this keeps happening, then people will start saying it seems Tinubu's administration is actually watching.
Except for the policies that we don't know the head.
Corruption. If you can fight corruption averagely and advantageously, it will aid the economy.
That's the major thing. That's the major thing. Bedeviling the system.
Yeah, because if this is tackled, then you know that the issue of excess borrowing from foreign loans and all that. Tackle your internal loan system first, and then talk about the debt that is being borrowed from the foreign aid. So this is a welcome development. Yeah?
All right,
but it should be successive, and it should be
before now, investigations were ongoing concerning the 30 trillion naira Ways and Means, and then there was an online report as regards this matter to the Senate, as though in Nigeria a lot of things will come up, and it will look as if those at the helm of affairs, once they talk about it for some time, it's as if it's swept under the carpet.
Absolutely.
So there was an online report that suggested that it seems this 30 trillion naira ways and means was being swept under the carpet.
Yeah.
And Senator Issa Jibrin from APC Kogi East was one that came up to say, because he's the chairman of the ad hoc committee in the Senate, and he came up to say, no, it wasn't swept under the carpet, that it was something that was actually, investigation was still going on. So though Nigerians are not seeing, like, we need to be constantly updated with what exactly is going, where have you gotten to, what is the, what are the follow-up actions being taken, because everyone will feel like whatever, the probe is being swept under the carpet if we do not hear anything. For instance, Dr. Betta Edu, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, in the beginning of this year, the suspended Betta Edu. Well, at the beginning of this year, we were hearing it was always on the news, even her predecessor.
But I told you that after a while we may not hear about it again because of the big wigs behind her.
This is actually commendable that the Senate is coming out to say we have not actually swept this under the carpet, and then it should be continued, not just a one-time thing. It should be something that happens consistently. That way, our leaders will always be in check.
That's good. It should be something that happens all the time. It shouldn't happen now and don't happen again. Then there are many more. What I want the Senate to do, it's not bad if you look into other administrations apart from Buhari's administration, and you mustn't wait until these people get out of office. You can put a check on them right now, even this administration, while they are still in office. You can put a check on them and call them to order so that some excesses can be caught. You know, if you call for probe, hey, what are you doing? I don't understand what you're doing. The Senate wants to know this, wants to know that. I'm not talking about interference, but then if you notice anything, it is right for you to call anyone going astray to order, or maybe you send recommendations to the president, who is even saying any minister that is not working will be laid off. We're still waiting to hear from the minister. Who is that minister? From the president? Who is that minister? Or can we at this point say the praise-singing that came up after the 1 year in office has actually quenched that fire? I don't think so. I know President Tinubu is going to go after every minister or office holder that is not performing, just like he is looking into the civil service right now. Thank you very much for staying with us. This is going to be the size of the big story on Outnumbered this morning. We will come on your way again, and that's going to be same time, same station tomorrow. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Have a wonderful day.